But you have lived off hard work and dedication, while many in your profession have been mothered from cradle to election by the machine of politics. And some of your peers sneered at your past, just as they did with Senator Pauline Hanson. Is there an air of elitism inside Canberra that is detrimental to the political institution?
There definitely. Look, I went to, let me tell you, when I left high school, I went to university. I was doing an economics law degree. I did the first year with, flying colours. My golf handicap got down to the lowest it's ever been because you have so much spare time as a university student. And during that long break that they have during university, the long sort of like Christmas summer break, I started to work. I was working with my father in a family business, and at the time there was a change in the trading relationship with New Zealand. And I could see all these business opportunities with the change of the trading relationship with New Zealand. I learned so much being out talking to people on the ground. When I went back to go for the second, I thought, hang on a minute. I thought, I've actually learnt more during the break than I actually learnt studying as far as business and law and the way the economy works. So I said, look, I'll go back and I'll finish my university course part-time. So I re-enrolled to do the rest of the course part-time, and I lasted one day. I realised it wasn't possible to do a university course part-time and continue to try and work as hard as you had to in the private sector to make a dollar. And then basically I've informally studied since then. So that was almost 40 years I've informally studied, and I've spoken to everyone. I've continued to, I love talking to people, meeting people from different industries and discussing how their business model works and discussing the economy. And then you get these doofuses that have come out of university that are sort of wet behind the ears, and they go, I have a certificate, I have a university certificate, I should be the advisor and I know I'm so smart, And the reality is, I hate these things, they don't know what do you say? They don't know S from clay. That's the reality of life. And one of the very interesting studies that came out during COVID was those that were sceptical of the vaccine. And they bracketed it in education stance. They had PhDs at one end, then they had university graduates, technical people with technical degrees, people with no technical degrees. And it was sort of a slope that went sort of like this. So if you're a PhD, if you had a PhD, you were more likely to be sceptical of the vaccines. If you had no formal education, you were also more likely to be sceptical. But if you had a university degree, you were less likely to be sceptical and more accepting. It was quite an interesting analogy. Sometimes street smarts account for a lot.
Yeah, well, you've described the phenomena perfectly. And I have to admit, I had a sort of allergic reaction to university as well, because when you went to university, you weren't learning much. But the generation currently in university, they're unlearning anything they actually managed to learn before. They're getting more stupid. So it's detrimental to go into higher education now if you want to succeed.
I think that I was actually getting out after a year, I was saved from being brainwashed by Marxist lecturers. I think it was the best thing for my education, the best educational thing I ever did was to get out, I did a year, get out, and sort of have a background of understanding, and then been able to learn on the practical side of things.
Yeah, well, anyone who walked into our retail industry and said, hey, I've got 2 degrees, is like, okay, well, we're not even going to interview you. That's it. You're out. We're not interested.